All right, good morning, Wasteland. Mr. G bringing myself the sweet coffee. You guys, the sweet Crossout vids. And what are we covering today? Well, we are going through brackets in Power Score. We're talking about the most meta builds in those brackets, and we've reached the 6,000 to 8,000 Power Score mark. Big thank you to Kenny and everybody on the Discord, particularly the mods, that helped me put together this list of builds that you're going to find most often at this Power Score and being most effective. Now, disclaimer, I did my best to find these off exhibition. There are better builds, versions of these builds. I found the best ones I could find on exhibition. And granted, driver skill always goes a long way. But look, we're just trying to give people an idea of what weapons and combinations are going to be effective at what Power Score. Let's jump into it. So first of all, we've got Dusk, Cabin, and Pyres coming in right now at 7,973 Power Score. You can see we've got the fuel tanks managed to be jammed inside there. A little bit of spaced armor. Colossus engine really handy in hover to give you that acceleration and the ability to scoot out of trouble. And radar even mounted inside the spaced armor with only 3 hovers. So not a bad sideways hover option there for you to be able to shoot and relocate. Even some heavier armor pieces than you'd expect to see on a hover running only 3. We've also got Cannon KTM. This is not a great example of another Cannon KTM. You're probably better off running this at the 4,000 to 6,000 Power Score, or the version we showed you on the other one. The Shotgun Wedge remains to be an effective build. This one coming in at 7,400 points. You can see that we are continuing to run the Sledgehammer, but you could also run a mace with this, or run maces. Using the Torero here, that cabin's going to close your spread up and make it easier to strip weapons and concentrate your damage. And God, the Shotgun Wedge is never ever going away, not until they fix the physics in Crossout, and I don't think the game engine can do that. Next up, we're talking about Scorpion Hover. That's right, one Scorp running on a Growl cabin. Just interesting 3 hover setup here. Basically, this is a Seal Clubber build. People coming in, but it's not too Seal Clubby at this Power Score because, look, they're running Neutrino. And they're running, Oculus, and enough parts here to boost the Power Score to make it not full on clubbing. And you just got to be really good with the Scorp to make it work. That's Mr. G's way of saying I'm garbage at aiming. You guys have been subscribed to the channel. You already know this. Next up, we're talking about cannon hovers. Now, these can come in a range. We went ahead and went with the Executioner because, hey, that's just been my longtime love. Great cannon. I've always loved it. With a mounting here, and once again a Growl. If you don't have a Growl cabin and you're a new player, get yourself the Growl cabin. And this is just a beautiful sideways hover build. You guys, though, unfortunately on console are going to be so left out on sideways builds. And I was just thinking about sideways builds. We get these omnidirectional wheels, sideways car builds, guys. Can you wait for it? It's going to be crazy. Caucasus Wedge. I couldn't find a great example of a Caucasus Wedge, but you'll usually see Caucasus layered over each other so that you have 360-degree firing, and that not one is going to block the other. Next up, we've got Sinus Hover. As always, if you're going to you can use the Nova and Spaced Armor as going to give you an extra layer of protection, and just really easy to use once you master that one. After Sinus Hover, we've got Goblin Bastion. This thing is super armored on all sides. Weakest point, of course, being the rear. Pretty effective, easy build to use. You just drive at the enemy and shoot away. Even though goblins have been nerfed and power scores changed over and over, it's almost like they were made for this cabin. I mean, look, undermounting these, there's just no weak points in the front of this thing's face. It can just tank damage like nobody's business. Next up, we got an Annihilator hover build. It was hard to find a really good example, but this one was interesting in that it has kind of some vertically raised armor to kind of protect those Annihilators as they're shooting out of there. We also have Trigger Photon builds. You know, these can come in hover or they can come in wedge form. Running the Photon cabin just to boost your trigger damage. There was quite a few good sideways photon cab builds, but anything on a wedge will work too, or you can stick them on hover. After that, we've got King, Capcan, and Harpy. You just, stop people, hit them with mines. Overall support build, kind of running around, trolling, causing some issues, driving people nuts. I think that's one I need to try out. That looks fun, and they've got it in a tiny little package there. Looks like my Infinite Shield builds, not going to lie. If you haven't seen the Infinite Shield videos, go look at those. Go look at those. And our last one, Caucasus Goliath. So these are our metas for 6,000 to 8,000 power score. If I missed one, or you're like, Mr. G, there's a way better build, or one of those shouldn't be in there, absolutely let me know in the comments. That's what the comment section is for. And you guys have been blowing up the comments on all these videos where we're ranking and trying to teach and instruct. And hey, that's how good teaching works. Throw it in there. Next up will be 8K to 10K. So we're leaving the new player territory. We're jumping in to veteran player territory, and I'm sure the comments are going to get a lot more instructive as I move up. But we're going to be hitting 8K to 10K, 10K to 12K, and we're going to end with 12K to infinity and beyond, or 15,000 power score. If you're running above 15,000 power score, well, you and I need to talk. All right, guys, be good, stay safe. Mr. G out.